The individuals that they serve in their home and their families at home are all one blended family.
You see how people show you love. You get to meet different individuals on different levels. Wow, do they really do this in here?
Putting them in their element, giving them that sense of independence. Inclusion over segregation for me any day.
All of this came out of what families found that they wanted.
I always felt it was very important for the ARC to be in people's lives from the day they were born to the day they died.
I would want to retire from here, and I want to come back and do some volunteer work from here.
The ARC is a national organization. It was started as an advocacy organization for individuals who have intellectual disabilities.
It was really started shortly after World War II when families began to have babies, and some of us baby boomers, of which I am one, happen to have disabilities.
Our chapter at Prince George's County was started in 1952 by a group of parents who wanted a better education for their children in the school system.
We had families coming in, and they wanted, I think at that point, mostly supports for them, for their families and for the children.
That was a time in which the United States was saying we can do better. Families began to get together around, we need to do something for our children that have disabilities. There's nothing out there for them. The ARC, over its 65 years, has dealt with numerous situations.
Sometimes it's grown in aches and pains.
We were a very tiny little agency.
It was a very small organization. I walked into the back door of Bowie City Hall, which was an old school building, and you always knew what was going on in Bowie because of the graffiti on our door.
Most of the people who we supported in the early days in our vocational programs, they had, we referred to it sometimes as an institution mentality.
They were pretty much sheltered, sitting in a house looking at Andy Griffin, Westerns.
The branding initiative had just started. How did we begin to make people understand that the ARC is not just a nonprofit down the street, but a national organization?
It was just a lot of confusion, you know, the communication wasn't good.
That took a lot of time and effort on the part of staff.
They didn't want the Metro Access vans in the community. You know, they didn't want, you know, to see the individuals walking up and down the street. They didn't want their people just like we are.
It was a name for the ARC, but I can't think of what the name is.
I was familiar with the old name, the Association for Retarded Citizens.
We went to the ARC, capital A, small RC, and people would say, well, what is the ARC? What does that mean?
At the time, retarded was the word that was used by medical professionals. We came to understand that's really not how we want to describe our children, our neighbors, our friends, our family members. Developmental and intellectual disabilities is a more accurate description, and it doesn't single people out. And so that's when the change started from being an acronym to the ARC.
We had a staff of about 16 to 20 people and a budget of about $400,000 when I started in 1983. It grew.
We're the leading service provider for individuals with intellectual and physical disabilities in the county.
When I came to residential services, we only had 20 or 25 homes. Now we have 46 homes. We only had, back then, I think 60 individuals. Now we have 173 individuals.
We had one of the biggest infants and toddlers case management programs in the county.
In my little 6 years, I've seen the ARC grow so much, and it's growing and growing, especially with the Community Links program.
Part of our work was actively going out into the community, looking for organizations, for programs, for opportunities for individuals with disabilities to fully participate.
By the late 70s, they became the norm of way people should be living in the communities, small group homes and so forth and so on. And by the 80s, it exploded. The states and the federal government said, this is the way we want to move.
Our day programs evolved into, okay, well, let's start getting out to the community a little bit more because we can now.
We weren't looking for organizations to bring their program to the building and serve just a few people, but to encourage individuals with disability to register, to actually come to the program site, to sit next to someone who does not have a visible disability and participate in the program.
Our state institution closed. All those people moved out. Our ARC of Prince George's County was probably the biggest provider that took care of those folks during the 90s.
And that was something that was out there. There was a need for it, and the ARC knew that it was a role that we wanted to play, that we could play, and again, it could make a difference in people's lives.
I don't work directly with individuals every day. I think what they do every day, is every time I see direct support staff, I get really emotional because I know I couldn't do it.
From other agencies that we've seen, the ARC, I gotta say, is the best.
We've been a pillar in this community for a long time.
It's a lot easier said than done.
You have to find that moment, not to gratify yourself or say, I did this, but that moment when you know that they're gonna leave this world knowing that you made a difference in their life.
The ARC means a lot to me, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to work here.
Just give them a chance. That's all they need. Just to open the avenue, you'll be surprised to see what they could do.
We're kind of wed by that early pioneering days of the organization.
Everybody should be in the community and be a part of it. And that's what the ARC was striving for all those years ago. That's what we want for people, is for them just to live the life that everybody lives.
We can help you along your journey with your child. Not only now, but for our lifetime.
It makes me proud to serve as executive director here. I get the benefit of 65 years of history and investment from other people, and I want to make sure I don't let them down. I want to keep it going. So it's an exciting organization. It's a major milestone to be here for 65 years, but it's not surprising because of all those pieces and people that make it possible.